We're reading Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and we're at the point in Antya-līlā, Volume 1, and we're at the point where Rūpa Gosvāmī is quoting some of his verses from his plays that he's written, and he's in the company of Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu. So the last verse yesterday was this one. Om Jnana Timimandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitanyana Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Translation. This was the last two verses from yesterday. The Lord, however, encouraged Rūpa Gosvāmī, saying, "Why are you embarrassed? You should recite it so the devotees can hear the good fruit of your writing." Then it goes on to say, when Rūpa Gosvāmī thus recited his verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disapproved of it because it described his personal glories. He expressed the opinion that it was an exaggerated explanation. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no other incarnation has ever offered before: the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Purport. This verse, Vidagdha Madhava 1.2, also appears in Adi-līlā 1.4 and 3.4. In his commentary on Vidagdha Madhava, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks, Mahaprabhu spoke him, Vina Hari Lila, Rasa Svadana Tibirtya, Bhava. Without the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, one cannot describe the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī said, "May Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is exactly like a lion and kills all the elephants of desire, be awakened within everyone's heart, for by his merciful blessings one can understand the transcendental pastimes of Krishna." Okay, so now this is where we're starting today. Prabhu, can you pass me my phone, please, so I can read? Okay. Prabhu kohe kene karas sangchoka lase. Krateva phala sanahiba Vaishnava samaja. The Lord, however, encouraged Rūpa Gosvāmī, saying, "Why are you embarrassed? You should recite it so the devotees can hear the good fruit of your writing." Tabe Rūpa Gosvāmī yadi shloka fadila. Shuni Prabhu kahe ai ati stuti aila. When Rūpa Gosvāmī thus recited his verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disapproved of it because it described his personal glories. He expressed the opinion that it was an exaggerated explanation. Anartapacharim chirat karunaya vratirina kalo samapayitam yunato rajala Vasam Sva Bhakti Shriyam. Arihi Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipitaha Sada Hridaya Kadare Spiritu Vaha Shachi Nandanaha. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shakti Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever uttered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Purport. This verse, Vidagda Madhava 1.2, also appears in Adi-līlā 1.4 and 3.4. In his commentary on Vidagda Madhava, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks, I'll just read the English. Without the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, one cannot describe the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī said, again, I'll leave out this, I'll just read the English translation. May Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is exactly like a lion that kills all the elephants of desire, be awakened within everyone's heart, for by his merciful blessings one can understand the transcendental pastimes of Krishna. Sabha Bhakta Gana Kahe Shlokas Shuniya Caitanya-caritāmṛta Sabhaya Shloka Shunana. All the devotees present so greatly appreciated this verse that they expressed their gratitude to Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī for his transcendental recitation. Raya kahe kon amukhe patra sanidhana Rūpa kahe kala samye pravartaka nama. Ramananda Roy inquired, how have you introduced the assembly of the players? Rūpa Gosvāmī replied, the players assemble at a suitable time under the heading of Pravartaka. Purport. In a drama, all the actors are called patra or players. This is stated by Vishwanath Kaviraj in the Sahitya Dharpana. When Srila Ramananda Roy inquired about the arrangement for introducing the assembly of players in the drama, Rūpa Gosvāmī replied that when the players first enter the stage in response to the time, the introduction is technically called Pravartaka. For an example, one may consult the Antya-līlā, first chapter, verse 17. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the introduction, which is technically called Āmukhya, may be of 5 different kinds, according to the Sahitya Dharpana. And there's a verse here. I'll just read the English. Introductions may be classified as follows. 1. Yudhatyaka. 2. Katod Hata. 3. Prayogadishaya. 4. Pravartaka. And 5. Avalagita. These 5 kinds of introduction are called Āmukula. Thus, Srila Ramananda Roy asked which of the 5 introductions had been deployed, and Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī replied that he had used the introduction called the Pravartaka. Akshiptaha kala samyena praveshaha syat pravartakaha. When the entrance of the actors is set in motion by the arrival of a suitable time, the entrance is called Pravartaka. This verse is from Nartaka Chandrika by Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī. And I'll miss there's quite a long verse here. I'll just read the English translation. Springtime had arrived, and the full moon of that season inspired the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is complete in everything, with new attraction to meet the beautiful Srimati Radharani at night to increase the beauty of the pastimes. Purport. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur interprets this verse, Vidagdha Madhava, in two ways, for Lord Krishna and for Lord Srimati Radharani. When interpreted for Krishna, the night is understood to have been a dark moon night, and when interpreted for Srimati Radharani, it is considered to have been a full moon night. Raya kahe prarojanadi kaha deki shuni. Rūpa kahe Mahaprabhu Shravanacha Jani. Ramananda Roy said, "Please recite the Parochana portion so that I may hear and examine it." Sri Rūpa replied, "I think that the desire to hear of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Parochana." Purport. The method of inducing the audience to become more and more eager to hear by praising the time and place, the hero and the audience is called Parochana. This is the statement regarding Parochana in the Nataka Chandrika. And I'll just read the English translations. Any literature presented in Sanskrit must follow the rules and regulations mentioned in the authoritative reference books. The technical inquiries by Srila Ramananda Roy and the replies of Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī indicate that both of them were expert and fully conversant with the techniques of writing drama. Next verse, English translation. The devotees now present are constantly thinking of the Supreme Lord and are therefore highly advanced. This work, named Vidagdha Madhava, depicts the characteristic pastimes of Lord Krishna with decorations of poetic ornaments, and the inner grounds of the forest of Vrindavan provide a suitable platform for the dancing of Krishna with the gopis. Therefore, I think that the pious activities of persons like us who have tried to advance in devotional service have now attained maturity. This is verse 8 of the first act of Vidagdha Madhava. O learned devotees, I am by nature ignorant and low, yet even though it is from me that Vidagdha Madhava has come, it is filled with descriptions of the transcendental attributes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, will not such literature bring about the attainment of the highest goal of life? Although its wood may be ignited by a low-class man, fire can nevertheless purify gold. Although I am very low by nature, this book may help cleanse the dirt from within the hearts of the golden devotees. This verse is also from Vidagdha Madhava, and of course this is Rūpa Gosvāmī explaining these, quoting these verses. Translation. First of all, the verse 140. Raya kahe kaha deki pramod pati karana purva raga vikara chesta karma likhana. Translation. Then Ramananda Roy inquired from Rūpa Gosvāmī about the causes of the loving affairs between Krishna and the gopis, such as previous attachment, transformations of love, endeavors for love, and exchanges of letters disclosing the gopis' awakening love for Krishna. Krame Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī Sakali Kahila Shuni Prabhura Bhakta Ganera Chamatkara Haila. Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī gradually informed Ramananda Roy about everything he asked, Hearing its explanations, all the devotees of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu were struck with wonder. Purport. Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī has explained Karma Likana in his book Ujvala Nilamani and translation. Exchanges of letters between a young boy and young girl concerning their awakening of attachment for one another are called Karma Lekha. And again, use another very long, quite long verse, verse 142, but I'll just read the English translation. Experiencing previous attachment to Krishna, Purva Raga, Srimati Radharani thought, since I've heard the name of a person called Krishna, I have practically lost my good sense. Then there is another person who plays his flute in such a way that after I hear the vibration, intense madness arises in my heart. And again there is still another person to whom my mind becomes attached. When I see this beautiful lightning refulgence in his picture, therefore I think that I am greatly condemned. For I have become simultaneously attached to 3 persons. It would be better for me to die because of this. This verse is from Vidagdha Madhava. Again, quite a long verse, so I'll just read the English. So this is verse 143. My dear friend, these palpitations of Srimati Radharani's heart are extremely difficult to cure. Even if one applied some medical treatment, it would only end in defamation. This verse, Vidagdha Madhava 2:8, is spoken by Srimati Radharani herself. Translation to the next verse, verse 144. O dearly beautiful, the artistic loveliness of your picture is now impressed within my mind. Since you are now living within my mind, wherever I wish to run, because I am agitated by impressions of you, I find that you, O my friend, are blocking my way. This verse, Vidagdha Madhava 2:33, is written in the Prakta language, not in Sanskrit. When transformed into Sanskrit, it reads as follows. And it's a Sanskrit verse. The meaning is the same, but the native language is different. It was spoken by Madhu Mangala to Sri Krishna. And one more verse. Again, I'll just read the translation.
One question. What language did you say? What language is it?
This verse, which I didn't read because it's quite long, Vidagdha Madhava 2:33, is written in the Prakrita language, not in Sanskrit. Prakrita language, not in Sanskrit. Okay, and final verse, text 145. Upon seeing peacock feathers in front of her, this girl suddenly begins trembling. When she sometimes sees a necklace of gunja, small conch shells, she sheds tears and cries loudly. I do not know what kind of a new artistic influence has entered the heart of this poor girl. It has imbued her with a dancing attitude of a player, creating wonderful, unprecedented dances on his stage. This verse, Vidagdha Madhava 2:15, is spoken by Mukara, Lord Krishna's grandmother, in a conversation with the grandmother of Radharani. And we'll finish the Caitanya-caritāmṛta at this point. Jai. Again, this is just reading from The Golden Volcano of Divine Love by Sridhar Maharaj. And the heading of this part is Love is Supreme. And the chapter is The Golden Avatar. Love is supreme. A rubbish brain cannot detect what is right or wrong, or how precious this is. He cannot understand or follow this higher line of thought. A man should be judged by his ideal, his aspiration for higher things. If the ideal is great, the man is great. What should be the highest ideal? Love is the high, supreme thing. It is the most rare and precious thing. Divine love and beauty is the highest thing ever known to the world. And those who can catch this are really possessed of good intellect. And one who possesses this highest ideal should be considered a man of highest order. He alone can understand and practice Sankirtan. He alone can take to this path, this process of satisfying the Supreme Being by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Heading, the hidden incarnation. This is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam as well as in the Mahabharata and other Vedic literature scriptures. Karabharjana Rishi, the last of the 9 great yogis, has given us a clue to understand Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu as a special incarnation for the age. He has mentioned the incarnation for this age of Kali in a mystic way. We may think, why has this not been described very plainly? So many avatars are clearly described, but when Srimad Bhagavatam describes Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu as the incarnation for the age of Kali, it is discussed in a mystic way. The answer is found in the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, who says, "O Lord, one of your names is Triyuga," meaning one who incarnates in 3 ages, Satya, Treta, and Rūpa, but not in Kali. And why? Because the incarnation for the age of Kali is in disguise. Here we find the key to this mystic way of representing Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu to the fortunate and intellectual circle, that ordinary people may not have any clue. And there's a verse which, in Sanskrit, which I'll just read the English. O Mahaprabhu, your lotus feet are the highest object of meditation, for they not only destroy the pain of material existence, but they bestow the greatest fulfillment to all souls who take shelter beneath them. Your lotus feet even purify all saintly persons and holy places. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma aspire to take shelter beneath your lotus feet. O Mahaprabhu, you give shelter to all who simply bow down before you. You relieve all the miseries of your surrendered servants. In the grand ship of your lotus feet, we can cross over the ocean of material miseries. O Mahaprabhu, I bow down before your lotus feet. After mentioning the incarnation of Godhead for the age of Kali, Srimad Bhagavatam, after mentioning the incarnation of Godhead for the age of Kali, Srimad Bhagavatam suddenly begins this song in praise of that great Yuga avatar, Srila Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. With a grand voice, the Bhagavatam has come to sing the praise of that guide for Kali Yuga. This follows the verse which hints at the avatar of Kali Yuga. Krishna Varnam means one who is always describing Krishna, who always has on his lips the words Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Another meaning of this expression is one who is Krishna himself. but whose lustre is not black. If we look deeply, we shall find that hidden beneath his golden lustre is the blackish body of Krishna. With his own paraphernalia, he has come to this plane, and service to him is performed only by Sankirtan, divine sound in mass prayer. By that symptom, we can recognize his divine position. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is a hidden incarnation. He comes in disguise. Such an avatar is worshipped by the divinely intellectual. In this way, the Srimad Bhagavatam first describes the uncommon, extraordinary personality Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu in a mystic way, and then explains his nobility and greatness. The Srimad Bhagavatam explains that same personality who came as Ramachandra and Krishna has again appeared. He has come to direct you to the real fulfillment of life. He is drawing the sweetest nectar from above for the sake of everyone. Only meditate on him and all your troubles will be finished. He is the agent purifying all the holy places of pilgrimage and saintly persons by his touch, by his Sankirtan. By his drawing the highest things down from the highest plane, and even Brahma and Shiva, puzzled by his noble gift, will begin to praise him. They will eagerly aspire to take shelter under his lotus feet as in surrender. The pains of all who come to serve him will be removed, and their inner necessities will be fulfilled, and he will take care of those who take shelter of him. They will be given protection as well as everything they may need. In this world where mortality rules, where we are continually experiencing the undesirable changes of repeated birth and death, in this area where no one wants to live, a great ship will come for us and take us within and carry us away from this unpleasant position. Let us fall at the feet of that great personality who comes to give the highest nectar. And the Srimad Bhagavatam continues, and I'll just read the translation. O Supreme Lord, you gave up the goddess of fortune and her great opulence, which is most difficult to abandon, and is sought after even by the gods, in order to perfectly establish the principles of religion. You left for the forest to honor the Brahman's curse, to deliver the sinful souls who chase illusory pleasures. You search after them and award them your devotional service. At the same time, you are engaged in search of yourself, in search for Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us explanation that although it seems that this verse applies to Lord Ramachandra, who left his kingdom and went with Sita Devi to the forest to discharge the duties designed by his father, this also applies to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has drawn out the internal meaning of this verse and applied it in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He left imperial prosperity, which is hard to abandon. Generally, we find this in the case of Lord Ramachandra, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Surapsita Rajya Lakshmin means the valuable devotional company of Vishnu Priya Devi. That may not appear to be a materially big thing, but the dedication that Vishnu Priya has shown in her heart for Sriman Mahaprabhu is greater than any imperial standard, and he had to leave that behind. Such a standard of sacrifice and service is never found even among the great society of the gods. For the sake of the public welfare, he had to ignore all the serving, loving attitude of Vishnu Priya. The curse of a Brahmin. This verse mentions the curse of a Brahmin. That Brahmin told Sriman Mahaprabhu, I want to participate in your nocturnal kirtans in which you take Krishna Lila, but the doors are closed. When Sriman Mahaprabhu used to perform kirtan and taste the Vraja Līlā of Krishna, he did so behind closed doors in deep night. But this Brahmin thought himself a very qualified religious person because he lived only by drinking milk and nothing else. So he said, I must have the entrance into that kirtan. I do not eat anything but milk. Why should I not be allowed? Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta replied, milk drinking is no qualification for entering into Krishna consciousness. The Swami said, then I curse you to lose your family life. All right, Mahaprabhu said, and accepted the curse. And later he took Chaitanya and chased after those who were misguided by Maya Vedic ladies, by Maya Devi, in order to save them. At the same time, although he is Krishna, he accepted the mood of Srimati Radharani. For these two reasons, he left his apparently lawful life. He acted for the welfare of the public, and after finishing that work, spent the next 12 years tasting the very inner aspiration of Srimati Radharani and searching after his own inner sweetness. This was what he came to show to the world. In this mystic way, Srimad Bhakti has proclaimed the magnanimous appearance of Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta. And that is the end of the chapter. Hare Rama Krishna Asatā Satakshishna Śrī Vaishnava Śrī Devananda Prabhu Swami Sita Paramanta Prabhu Sita Asatā Satakshishna Śrī Vaishnava Śrī Devananda Prabhu Swami Sita Paramanta Prabhu Sita Asatā Satakshishna Śrī Vaishnava Swami Sita Paramanta Shri go to show the Sabbaji Maharaj Pujan, Jaya Jishita, Shri Satyamanda Shri Bhakti Thakur Pujan, Jaya Jishita Shri Jatnasta Sabbaji Maharaj Pujan, Jaya Shri Rupaniti Shri Bhakti Pujan, Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Satyapad Pujan, Namachar Shri Haridas Thakur Pujan, Jai Harinam Sankirtan Pujan, Jai all the assembled devotees Pujan, Jai Harinam Sankirtan Pujan, Nipasura Swaminandi Haridas.